if you think you're a lost cause, that goes back to the unredeemable part. You're not. Everyone can be saved. I'm talking spiritually and physically. I'll do the physical part, and you have to look upstairs for the spiritual part. Yeah, let the big dog hunt. Hello again, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Divorce and Conquer. I'm your host, Joe Staszak. I just want to take the time right now. We have just aired 5 episodes, uh, 6 maybe by the time you see this, but it's been a smash. And I really want to say from the bottom of my heart, thank you so much for subscribing, for downloading, for watching the program. And I also wanted to give a little recap of what this is all about, because some people are not quite sure what the bane of this program is all about. It's about transformation. Okay. It's not just about the process of the divorce, going through the portal, the steps you need to take to preserve your cash and your sanity and your dignity. It's not about all that. We deal with the relationships a little bit. I think the first 3 or 4 we did because it was around Christmas time. And I know a lot of marriages and relationships kind of teeter around that time of year, or you were teetering around that time of year. We kind of try to guide you along the way, maybe give you some tips. I brought in renowned therapists, Katie Young, Brett Datto, my divorce attorney, celebrity divorce attorney in the area. Does a lot with the Phillies and the professional teams and the celebrities. I like Bob Anderson, my personal life coach. I'm trying to get Randall Cunningham, who also played a big part in my turnaround. So it's not about the little pieces that you need to take and steps you need to take to get through the divorce. It's about transformation of yourself. Because guess what? You get divorced and just go about it like, a normal divorce, go through the process, and you're on the other side now. The next relationship you get into, you're still going to bring those things that you brought into your last divorce. You might curtail a few things along the way. Well, maybe I should have done that. Maybe I shouldn't have done that. So we're getting to the bottom, the inner core of what makes you tick and what you need to do to basically transform yourself to be a redeemable. And I use that term. I don't even know if that's an actual word. There was a musical that came out. I don't think things happen by coincidence anymore. A musical just came out, and everyone knows I've never watched Elf. I'm not a big Will Ferrell fan and don't know much about Ryan Reynolds. I do like musicals though. I like musicals, and I love Charles Dickens, A Christmas Carol. Always been a huge fan. Probably my favorite Christmas movie in its entirety. It's a Wonderful Life. Yeah, I throw that out there. I like the last 15 minutes of It's a Wonderful Life. The other stuff's okay. Jimmy Stewart's kind of a caricature of himself, and he's great. He's phenomenal. Donna Reed, I would die, to meet Donna Reed. Love Donna Reed and all those other characters. Tremendous, tremendous flicks. Anyway, it's my new favorite movie, maybe of all time. And relax, Point Break, people. I don't know if it's gotten that high yet, but it's getting close. Point Break is still up here. Relax. Spirited. It was suggested by my sister. It's on Apple TV. I got a free 7-day trial. I continued it because I think I watched it 25 times. And sometimes it's on just for background noise. And sometimes I'll play the soundtrack to it. I'll play it in the car. It's one of my latest obsessions. But it's an adaptation, a little bit of a quirky adaptation of A Christmas Carol. And basically I'll get to the bottom line. When I said unredeemable, Will Ferrell, who's great in it, didn't know he could sing or dance. Ryan Reynolds is phenomenal. And Octavia Spencer, don't know anything about her. My kids, she's great too. They're all great. The words, the writing's phenomenal. If you know A Christmas Carol, there's some subtleties. I had to watch it. I told you how many times I watched it, but the more I watched it, you'll hear something that was kind of like, it happened really fast and kind of, oh, that was actually really funny. You have to catch some things. You'll catch some things if you watch it a few more times, but it's my kind of humor. It's a little dry. It's a little satirical, a little Seinfeldian at times. But Will Ferrell basically was Scrooge. And now he's in the afterlife, and they have this whole system and a whole team of spirit. Jacob Marley runs the whole thing. He was Scrooge's guy. He was Scrooge's life coach, let's call it. And Will Ferrell gets to the point where he could retire from doing this and helping. They get one per a year, they call them, and they find like the worst person, the worst human being they could find. They vote on it, and then they try to fix him, and he becomes like that year Scrooge. It was Ryan Reynolds this particular year, but Ryan Reynolds in the process kind of befriends Will Ferrell, and maybe he's not sure that they all thought he was. I mean, he still kind of is, but he gets to be friends with Will Ferrell, and he finds out that Will Ferrell could have retired, and his retirement package is, I think, a Sephora gift card, a watch, and he gets to go back to Earth and live out his life as a mortal. But he's concerned because he thinks he's unredeemable, which he basically thinks Ryan Reynolds is going in. They just didn't think they could until you could reform him. Anyway, unredeemable. It sounds a lot like unoffendable, which is going to be the topic of today's podcast, but no one is unredeemable. All right. I've done some things kind of led me to the place where I put together this program, and I'm in pretty good shape right now. I don't mean physically. Uh, I just mean overall wellness, mindfulness, and things like that. I just wanted to reiterate that no one's unredeemable. If anyone thinks that, you're wrong. And there's a spiritual element of this program too. It's spiritual, it's physical, it's emotional, and it's financial. Basically, those four things go into this. And but if you get to the core of the issues that become issues within yourself, there's ego, and there's, well, it all ties in when I get to the unoffendable part, but mostly ego drives us to do the things that we do. And I don't mean ego as saying, oh, I'm the best looking this, I'm the greatest that, I'm the greatest singer, I'm the greatest athlete. I don't mean that kind of ego. I mean the super ego, the id, that kind of ego, because I was part of, I still am part of a program with Pat Croce. I don't know if you all remember Pat Croce, former trainer for the Flyers, president of the 76ers. Now he's a pirate enthusiast. He does uh, well, we have a gathering, and he kind of every week, and he's like the I can't remember the name, but he's kind of like he runs it's almost like a gathering of Buddhism principles. That's kind of what it is, basically. And his first episode just hit me, not episode, his first meeting. We do it on Sundays, 11 o'clock, when he talked about the ego. And I'm like, oh my God, that's me. Oh my God, I did that. I did that. I did that. I did all these things. I'm like, wow, I could have really fixed some things, saved some things. And that's going to be another episode about the ego and how to put it aside. But it all ties into today's episode because number one, if you think you're a lost cause, that goes back to the unredeemable part. You're not. Everyone can be saved. I'm talking spiritually and physically. I'll do the physical part, and you have to look upstairs for the spiritual part. If you believe in that, that has helped me a lot. I am a Christian. I'm a Catholic. I've been called before. I've been chosen, and oh yeah, that sounds good. Yeah, I reached a crossroads in my life. Okay, cool. What do I need to do? Oh yeah, read this Bible. I don't understand it. Keep reading. Yeah, still don't understand. The words are kind of small. As I get older, I can't read it. Okay, yeah. Well, I was chosen. Cool. And then I go on my way. I go off the tracks. It's happened to me a couple times. I've had people that have kind of come into my life. One is a very good friend of mine. It was a wild man when he was little, and then he went away and got a job in a different part of the country, and now so he tried. Another friend I worked with at the station tried, and then things I think had to get really bad. And then my brother-in-law, believe it or not, my second wife's brother, uh, kind of came to the fore. I didn't even know he was as far along as he was. I didn't know that he had transformed himself, got his life together spiritually. So he's helped me a lot in those regards. And some of the stuff I'm going to talk about today has to do with spirituality and the higher being that is. And I want to talk today about just being unoffendable. You know what's offensive to me? It has been, not as much anymore, is how offended everyone is these days. Society, everything offends this party or that group or this. Really? To me, society has become so soft and just wants to pull everyone and wants to revert to the mean. The mean is mediocrity. And I talk about that too in terms of, not apologizing for not wanting to be part of that. I certainly don't. I strive for a lot more than what society wants us to do or to be their pull towards mediocrity. But it's gotten so bad. The pronoun thing to me, that was, yeah, it was offensive to me because no, I'm not. No, I'm not. What are you talking about? I went to my stepson's, I don't know what it was, something for his school in the auditorium, and the people were getting up and these teachers and saying, yeah, here's my, whatever your name is, Mrs. Smith, Mrs. Johnson, Mr. Edwards. And, I go by, him, he, or something. And then she's like, well, she, her. I'm like, what are they talking about? I was talking to my now ex. She's like, well, the pronoun thing. What pronoun thing? What is this? What is this now? Well, yeah, people want to go by. What are you talking about? I can tell that's a female. Yeah, but not everyone can. You can't tell that that person's a chick? She's like, well, now I'm starting to get like, I'm going to say something. Because this to me is mind blowing. How I don't know who came up with this because we talk about society. Is there a governing body over the stupid things that society comes up with? Where does it come up with? Just it all of a sudden appears. I don't listen to a lot of that stuff, so I'm always late to the party. My kids will fill me in. Now I'm being introduced to the world of pronouns. Nope, not for me. Not going to do it. I'm going to. I don't. I wouldn't call you a she, he, or it anyway. When does anyone call anyone that? No one calls me a he. Call me by my name or nickname or whatever. Anyway, I'm just saying the things that okay. The Redskins have been around about 100 years. Washington Redskins football team. All of a sudden, a few years ago, this group somewhere on some plantation doesn't like the fact that the Redskins. Do you guys even watch football? You have football, at your casinos, wherever you are. That was a joke, but because I do respect their feelings. I'm not racist. I'm not anything like that. But like, where does this come from? I didn't know you guys were big proponents of football. Now you're bothered by the Redskins, bothered by the Indians, the Braves. Why haven't the Braves been touched? Maybe that's not offensive. Indians, the big white face with the teeth. Okay, now they're the Guardians. Okay, that might be the dumbest nickname I've ever heard of, but only surpassed by the Washington football team. Okay, that was original. I wonder what think tank came up with that. 2 years, the Washington football team. Now they're the Commanders. Yeah, I'm going to go with skins. I'm tired of thinking, well, what are they called this year? So if you see me in my podcast or whatever or on the air, they're getting skinned or they're getting Washington. And then when I say Washington, it's a tribute to Buddy Ryan, former coach of the Eagles. He used to call them the Washington Redskins. So, and I'm not in the business of offending anyone. I'm really not. And I had a discussion with my friend. We went over the origin of the Redskins and why that's offensive. Okay, fine. I'm not here to tell anyone what you should be or should not be offended by, but it's gotten ridiculous. And to me, that's overall offensive, but I don't get offended by that stuff anymore. You know why? It's a waste of time. It's really a waste of time. I mean, yeah, I can go on a rant, make jokes about it, try to make people laugh. That's fine. But this whole thing about being unoffendable came to me through my brother-in-law. Again, it's about spirituality with him. A guy named Aaron Burke. He is a pastor of the Radiant Church. Now, I don't know what that means, but I watched it. And he has always been stressing to me for the longest time, be unoffendable, be unoffendable. Because even through the process of my divorce, I would, go a few rounds with my ex. And, that would linger and things would annoy me. And yeah, there were times when things were hurtful and I was easily poked, which I respect because I always like to, hey, let's have some fun. My philosophy has always been, if it ain't broke, break it. All right. Wake up. You want to be a sleeping dog? Well, wake the hell up. Let's go. Come on. I like to spar. I used to do it, out of oftentimes in my relationship out of anger, and that's never a good thing. But You know, I did it for a living on the radio, and I like doing it. I'm good at it. And I'm also good at, sh exploiting weaknesses. It's a terrible thing that I'm good at, and I'm trying to avoid that because I'm trying to live by the motto and philosophy of be unoffendable. And it's hard. And this whole thing, let me reiterate, is an evolving process. This program isn't finite. You don't get to the part of the fitness program. Oh, I hit my weight, body fat. Good. All right. I'm good. I'm stopping. No, it's ongoing. You have to maintain. Maybe you're in the fat loss phase and then we're going to rebuild. That's what I did. There was a cutting phase initially. You had to drop some fat and then you increase your calories a little bit with certain macronutrients, the proteins, the carbs, the fats, and then you build up again while maintaining your muscle. Because I've done a program before that basically, yeah, you can restrict your calories and you'll lose the weight, but you also lose a lot of muscle with it. It's a little different. It's a little more refined. We'll get to that at some point. But uh, again, ever evolving. The only time this program ends is when 6 of your best friends carry you out of church in a pine box. That's it. That's the ball game. All right. And this is about commitment. It's about total commitment. I don't want to work with people who are 8 out of 10 committed. I always ask that question with clients. How committed are you? How bad do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? It's about sacrifice. It's about sacrifice. With sacrifices, if you watch Redeemable, there will be consequences. All right. Most of them good here. Most of them good here. But there are some things you have to look out for, and we will get to those. But today, I want to get into being unoffendable. And I've gotten to a place where I've been pretty good about it. A lot of things don't bother me anymore. And I tell people that first of all, you can't really hurt my feelings at this point. I'm numb to things because of things that have happened over the last decade. And the things that maybe used to bother me, now that I look at things so much differently, different perspective on things because of the plight that I've been through a couple times and a lot of other things that have gone on, good and bad, good and bad. I've had a blessed life. Things are good, not complaining. But yeah, there's things and maybe again, because it's perspective, I'm not watching it right now, but they're still talking about the safety for the Buffalo Bills, who had cardiac arrest last Monday night in a game against the Bengals. Lamar Dabble. So that was, I watched it live. I saw it happen. It was seemed like a routine tackle. He got up and he dropped and did an ST plunge, doing better, which is good. But that's had an effect on people. And that puts things into perspective when major things like that happen that kind of almost bring you to the reality of your own mortality. Perspective is given. So I've gotten and gained more clairvoyance and more perspective, but I know there's a long way to go and you have to be ultra committed. The holidays are over. I get, where you're not 100% committed at that point because you want to have a little fun. That's fine. Usually when I want to have my fun, I'll compensate in other areas. If I want to have a really nice dinner, or I know I'm going out to a nice dinner, maybe have a martini and steak, I won't eat like the whole day. I've trained myself to intermittently fast. I've done 36 hours before. Some of my trainers have done 60. I wouldn't suggest that, but I'm just saying I can. Initially, it was hard. I can do it in my sleep nowadays. Again, it's a lot of reps. It's all about reps. It's practice. It's disciplining your thoughts. That's another episode we'll get to in a little bit. Now, about being unoffendable. And again, there are some benefits to it. And I'm not going to tell you how to be unoffendable. You have to kind of do that on your own it's hard. Remember, if it was easy, everybody would do this. The hard is what makes it great. Because when you get to the end, you've been through the gauntlet and you've accomplished some things. But unoffended people have more time. That's number one. You might want to write these down. There's a few of them. I'll give you 5 or 6 right now, but they have more time. Imagine I'm ready to have dinner and you see a post of social media has really messed up a lot of things. Yeah, it's good for a lot of reasons, but it certainly has had its downside. But people get so angry by what other people post. And God forbid you're a Trump backer, you're a Biden backer. You don't like the stimulus package. You don't like, another decision that came down, Roe v. Wade, something like that. People are so offended by a lot of things, and then they have to go on and post their thing because they feel like maybe I don't know what the origin is. You just want to get out your thoughts. Maybe you're going to change some minds. My thing is this: if it's not going to lead to something positive, what are you doing? You're wasting your time. Why go on Twitter and announce something that to get your opinion out? What, you drawing attention to yourself for what reason? Now, there's a difference between sometimes I'll go on Twitter and I'll promo this or the sports show, or maybe even a stat I came across that I thought was interesting. I'm a stat guy. I like stats. I like empirical data to back up opinions. So, but otherwise, I mean, if you want to throw your 2 cents in, great. But I see people going back and forth, and I got into a Twitter thing once, and I had always preached to the younger kids, what are you doing? You don't know these people. Why do you care what these people think about you? Why do you care? And I've gotten sucked into it too. But my skin I don't care anymore. Why would I care about someone I don't know? His opinion. It's his opinion. He wants to trash me, fine. Again, that's his opinion. He can have his opinion on me. You didn't like what I said that day? Yeah, I had an issue. One day I did something stupid. The thing is, I was right, but it was probably ill-advised and not necessary. Why I was having a bad day, and I decided something offended me that the 76ers did, and I took to Twitter. I was flattered that so many people cared about what I thought, but it was all I shouldn't say all negative. I got a lot of direct messages, people that didn't wanna go public and say, "You're right, but you probably shouldn't say that or can't say that." What do you mean I can't say that? If you're gonna say I shouldn't say that because I offended people, well, number 1, I was right. And when I say that, people had an emotional reaction to it because they didn't actually hear what I said. And I did try to explain it. Again, you're dealing with twits on Twitter. They sit around in their mom's basement, chain smoking Newports with, Cheeto dust on their fingers, playing video games. Who knows what they're doing? But the vitriol that came back at me, and again, I find all of this fascinating because I'm a student of psychology and the behavior of humans, bad and good. I almost went back to school to get my master's in it, wanted to be a therapist. So would have taken too long at this stage in my life. But it's fascinating to me. Like, I thought it was an unbelievable study in human psychology. I say this, and then there's an onslaught here. And I had forgotten about it. I'd forgotten about it. I get a text from my buddy 2 hours later. You check Twitter, they are burning your house down. Like, what? I was like, "Oh, totally forgot about it." Didn't even, I moved on. Well, it became a huge thing. There was a story in a local, local, it was on the internet, a publication about it, and someone pitted me against a female broadcaster I used to work with, who I was friends with. She takes a shot at me. I take a shot at her. It just, the whole thing got way out of control because everyone was offended at what I said. And then I became offended at what they said. It was a wasted time. In fact, I think it might have been our last date night. My wife, my wife did. I had no idea. And I kind of told her at dinner, I said, "Yes, stuff's happening on Twitter. And just want to let you know." And she came to my defense, which was nice. She ripped me about it later, but whatever. So anyway, waste of time. I got phone calls and letters from my former employers asking me to take down, like, behind my picture on Twitter and some others I had, 97.5 The Fanatics. They didn't want to be associated with me. I'm like, "Yeah, last time I checked, I don't work for you." And my former GM said, "I've sent it to legal, this letter. Legal what? I don't work for you guys anymore." And my phone message had 97.5 in it. I was formerly of 97.5. He asked me to change that too. I'm like, "Joe, really?" As a courtesy, I changed a couple things for him. My Twitter handle, I changed it back. I'm like, "This is silly. This is stupid." You know, you want to think what you think about me. I was model employee for 8 years now. I'm proud of the work I did there. But anyway, I'm just saying this offensive thing, it was stupid for everybody involved, but I can't change everybody else. I can only change myself. That wouldn't offend me these days. Listen, I hate corporate America. I think they mirror society or society mirrors them and some of the rules and you can't say this, you can't say that. Everything's a liability issue, so nothing can get done properly. So ridiculous. So ridiculous. Save yourself some time. Of unoffended people have more free time. You know what? I just feel more peaceful. I feel much more peaceful. Stuff doesn't, yeah, that's fine. I'm on the dating scene again. And a while ago, I went out with a girl once. Nice time, very nice girl. We had a really good time. And well, I guess I can't speak for her, but I'm pretty sure she did. Couldn't get a second date with her. Wait, what? And I'm like, all right, I was trying, should I not contact? And I couldn't get a straight answer out of her. So I just kind of had to figure it out myself. It just didn't make sense. Bothered me. I'm not sure what bothered me, that I couldn't see her again, or the fact that I don't know what I did. Probably something I said on a text, probably, or my mouth usually gets me into a lot of trouble. But anyway, um, it would just be helpful. I would love it if people were just straight with me. You're not gonna. I understand how people probably mirror their own emotions. Maybe they think that it would have hurt their feelings if I said something to them like that. It doesn't anymore. Just be honest. Okay, cool. Again, I'd rather get one to the head than six to the chest. I'm cool. I like straightforwardness. I like clear communication. That means, give it to me straight. Then I have a clear path and direction I can take. I'm still friends with her. I'm friends with everybody. I will never shut anyone out. If anyone wants to come into my airspace, no questions asked. Let's do it. Let's do it. Spreading the love. I don't hold grudges anymore. I know some people think I can hold grudges for a long time. I used to hold grudges of referees that screwed up my team. It was 20-year anniversary of the Fiesta Bowl that I went to 20 years ago, where a flag cost my team a national championship. I'm almost over it. But yeah, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of energy. You won't have as much angst. The next thing is number 2 on the list was unoffended people get more rest, get more sleep. It's not on your mind anymore. You're not throwing it back and forth. You're not angry when you go to bed. You're not pissed off. You're not upset. There's no angst. You don't wake up with that nervousness, the butterflies. What was I even upset about? I've got to the point. One of my things was my rants to people who work for companies that are just incompetent. Incompetency in this country is rampant, and it bugs the hell out of me. And I used to I won't say be famous, but my family knows when I gonna pick up the phone after, like eBay rooked me out of about $3,000, 3,500, and I've had my dealings with them. I'm done with eBay, but recently I got something in an email right before I was doing a podcast with Steve Callis said, here's your refund for the shirts you bought. And I was like, that looks a little light to me. And it was bothering me. And I'm like, did I not read the return policy correctly? And Steve's getting ready to do the show, and it's starting to, and I'm like, you know what? Relax. You have focus on this right now. Don't worry about that, which is another thing to do. And I was bad at this. When I would see something, a text, something coming in from most likely my ex, right 5 seconds later, boom, I'm firing something off. Just take a step back, relax a little bit, take deep breaths. That actually works, believe it or not. In this situation, I needed a few minutes to figure out what happened, what's going on. Steve's like, you ready to go? I'm like, you know what? Yes, let's do the show, and then I'll deal with it. By the time the show got done, I almost had forgotten about it. Almost had forgotten about the lady who sent me this thing. So I call her, I'm much calmer. And as I'm telling her the order number, it hit me. I only returned 2 of the 3 shirts. So it should have been light. And she kind of knew exactly what I was like, you know what, ma'am, I think I found the issue. She goes, yeah, you only returned, I said, 2 of the shirts. Thank you. Have a nice day. All right. All good. See, now initially, and the old me would have, you know, I would have fired some ICBMs, coming down from over the North Pole. I would have just naped the place. Um, we had a little fallback the other day. This more incompetence. And sometimes, again, my philosophy is if it's not going to lead, and this is what I used to tell my ex, and we could never get this right. If this conversation or this fight, the thing that blew up and led to my second divorce, I said, "If you want to discuss or have a discussion," because most of the discussions we were having over those last few months, they weren't going, and they just became fight. I'm sending sortie after sortie, and she is too. And I finally said, if we're not going to have a discussion that's going to lead to a resolution or to a positive place, then no, I'm not getting back into the back and forth for no reason, just to, release some anger. But if you wanted, and she wouldn't agree to it. Again, that's her ego. She dug her heels in. My ego was digging my heels in and saying, I'm not having that conversation. Guess what? If I had gone in and had that conversation, it probably would have, and if I would have dealt with it properly and the way I wanted to deal with it, instead of going in, with my, you know, um, surface to air shoulder apparatus, it would have probably taken care of itself, but it never happened. So anyway, this lady I called the other day, again, I'm trying to get a point across to her that they need to change a policy because this is unacceptable. I ordered some stuff on eBay from Christmas stuff for the outside from a guy in Arizona, got it shipped December 2nd, supposed to be here before I had a Christmas party on the 10th. Okay, it's January 6th. It's still not here. I finally got around to talking to them on the 20th of December. She's like, well, yeah. I'm like, where's my stuff? It's in a warehouse in Las Vegas. What? What are you talking about? A warehouse in Las Vegas? Yeah, well, you didn't pay the balance. I'm like, when was you guys were supposed to call me when you picked it up, and we were gonna, because I already signed the contract. Well, here it is again. We'll ship it to you out of Las Vegas, even though it was in Payson, Arizona. Okay. I guess it's not getting here for this Christmas, but here, paid the balance. It said, what's your first available day? Any day. From here on out, any day. I did that yesterday. I get something in the an email. You're going to have to pay another storage fee if you don't, fill this out properly or something. So then I called her up and I start letting her have it. I'm like, what are you talking about? I said, any day. She's like, well, you have to say a specific day. I'm like, what? Okay, tomorrow. Can I put tomorrow down? It's in Las Vegas today. I'm going to put tomorrow's an available day for me. Is that going to be here tomorrow? Well, no, sir, but it means any day after. When I say any day, that means you pick the day. I don't care. It meant, well, look at your contract. I'm going, oh my God. Did, how uneducated is this? Did she get homeschooled without a home? What is going on here? I calmed down. I said, you know what? I'm not getting anywhere with this knucklehead lady. So I said, okay, we can't do anything about that, which is something I do now. I'm not going to waste time bitching about something that I can't change. What can I do to get that stuff here for next Christmas? Sends me the thing again. I send it back. I said, all right, January 4th, which is, it was the next day. Any day after this. Well, if you don't say today, you get fined or hit with a storage charge. Okay. Now today's the first available day. And right now it's in Las Vegas. That sounds pretty logical. She goes, well, at least you won't get fined. What am I, Marshawn Lynch? This is unbelievable. Anyway, I'm just saying being offended wastes time. You cause angst. You get other people angry. You offend other people. Wasting time. Okay. Wasting time ruminating about it. Wasting time with angst. Wasting time with a stupid argument. That's why I finally said, wait. Remember, I can't change what happened unless they changed their policy. And was trying to show them how stupid it was. And calm down, we got it done. And again, should be here by next Christmas. So anyway, that's number two. Unoffended people get more rest, get more sleep. Okay, unoffended people, obviously, and I've been talking about this, have better relationships. Don't nitpick. That's the thing. You know why? Or what you can do when you see that you're nitpicking. I kind of did. My ex, she was very, very nice. I'm not going to throw her under the bus or say bad things about her. There were some sensitivities that I learned. Stay just all right. Don't give advice. Don't go there. That's fine. You learn to kind of adjust. But then there was times where, yeah, I'm like, you know what, I'm just gonna nape the place, and then boom, and and then it became, um, you have to love. You have to actually intensify your love. You will stop nitpicking. Overlooking things is the key. Overlooking little things, at least. I mean, I'm not talking about infidelity or any kind of betrayals or of that kind, but overlooking the small stuff. At the end of the day, does it matter? Does it really matter? All the junk. I mean, all the nitpicking, you get down in the mud and you end up dirty. You leave that argument feeling dirty, ashamed, embarrassed. I mean, it's just a more godly way to go, and it's a more practical way to go. Overlook the small stuff. I think a lot of times I would get down into the dirt because I realized that she was nitpicky with little things that I did. So I'm going to hold her to the same standard. Well, guess what? That was stupid because it ended. Here I am. So that's number three. Again, don't nitpick. Overlook the stupid stuff. The avenge or revenge factor. All right. This is what, I was told, and I've been told by other spiritual guides, coaches, that God will take care of getting back at someone. At this point, I don't even care about getting back at someone. At the time, I'm like, I cannot believe this is happening and blah, blah, blah. And, don't be a vigilante. Don't be a spiritual or emotional vigilante. God will take care of that. Again, at this point, I'm like, I don't even want, and some things have happened that I'm wondering, wow, was that God taking care of that? I'm like, I got this though. I'm cool. You don't need to. I don't want anyone else to be hurt about this. It's fine. I mean, for your sake, if that's your plan, knock yourself out. But I'm cool. I don't need um, calamities to befall people in my life who have wronged me, or at least that I perceived have wronged me. I don't need that. I really don't. I mean, there's some people that need to be taken out to the woodshed. Personally, I'd like to do it, but all right, listen, I'll give it up to you. You can do it. Um, you have more things in your arsenal, I would say. So that's number four. The unoffended people are just more compassionate. All of this ties in to about the nitpicking, the love. If you have a greater love for someone, unconditional love. I know we're kind of born with unconditional love, I think, for our offspring. But if you have it for the person you're with, your wife, your spouse, it supersedes all that other stuff. It just does. When you're compassionate, you will overlook some of the things that have happened. And that's what I didn't do. I got stuck on a lot of stuff. And listen, I'm not going to throw her under the bus. This is about me and what I've done, my direction. But having greater love for the person, more compassion for the person. And how about this one? The last one I'll give you, because I've probably gone way past bedtime on this. Sometimes I get a little gabby. Uh, Try to be creative. Unoffended people are more creative. And when I say this, and I'm pretty objective too, I always look at the other side. Like, I already have a head start in some of this because I'll look at the other side, and I have friends that often be, how could you take that from your ex and her idiot that she's running around with now? I'm like, well, I have a lot of I've played a lot of role in this to where we are. I also think that I would have done anything to fix it. And again, got past that point apparently. So again, I can't control what the other person does, just myself. And I know what I need to do or mistakes to avoid. Well, how can you let that go? What do you want me to do? You want me to I'll tell you what I did. I went off the track a little bit the other day. She kind of fired a shot at me unsolicited. I'm like, well, she found out about this podcast and it's fine. She said some nice congratulations, blah, blah, blah. And I don't know, maybe it irked her. Maybe I was kidding. I offered her, I said, well, you want to be a guest on the show? Kidding. She doesn't, we used to play around a lot. She was very sense of humor was in line with mine. She got me, I got her. Um, she doesn't want to laugh at my jokes anymore, I guess. But anyway, for whatever reason, she kind of threw a shot my way. And I wasn't really angry about it, like it might have been a few months ago, but I'm like, see, one thing I'm very good at is this. It's sparring, it's debating, it's, firing shots this way. It's terrible because I'm great at it. I'm not great at a lot of things that I'm great at. I will exploit weaknesses. I will cut your legs out from you. I will, send you home to your mommy. I will take you down verbally, necessary. And it's rare, but I can get that angry and I can do that and I'm great at it. I wasn't feeling angry or whatever. You know what? I was entertaining myself. And then at the end of so I, went back and forth a little bit, pulled out some stuff that I haven't used before. Um, Kind of minor, but still at the end of the day, I felt bad about it. I'm like, I didn't need to do that. One, it's not part of the program. I fell off and you will fall off and I fall off once in a while. We all have to get back on the rail, but I was like, that was not necessary. Maybe I inflicted pain and why would I want to do that anymore? I used to. It was retaliatory strikes. I was never a first strike person. I was usually a second strike person. I'm always content to live my life, have a good time, do this, do that. And I was always the respondent. I would never usually start something, but anyway, and the same with this. And I was like, yeah, what I was doing in the moment, I was kind of entertaining myself. I was having some fun because I haven't done it in a while. I don't do that anymore, or I try not to do that anymore. When I do, I catch myself and stop. I even try to sometimes impart some of the things I've learned, and she doesn't want to hear it. Doesn't want to hear my advice. Okay, that's fine. I understand it. Not everyone's going to. I said, no problem. All is good. And, got right back on track with her. We talked about some things going on and some, tasks we have to take care of post-divorce and the dog, custody of the dog, which I think is great. Most people are under have a working theory that she gave me the dog to keep a connection with, and that may be true. And I was, and what I said, and it has caused some issues a little bit in the past in terms of the drop offs and the pickups. And people are like, why don't you just forget about the dog? Really? Why? So you won't have to deal with it. Who cares? What do I care about that stuff for? That's all bullshit. All right. That's like 2 minutes when I go to pick up the dog or whatever. And they're like, well, Bob, I'm like, listen, it's like a child. Oh, really? I'm going to give up custody because it's annoying going over there and she's done some things that I wouldn't do or I'm not on board with. And I don't really care why she gave me the dog. I'll give her the benefit of the doubt. She knows I love the dog. And I've known the dog since the dog was one, Lulu. She's around here somewhere, actually. Oh, she is. She usually can. Lou, want to say hi, Lou? She she's like our studio audience. She right there. She likes to sleep a lot. Right now she's tired from sleeping 22 hours yesterday. Anyway, all right. That's about it for today. I appreciate you watching another episode and listening to Divorce and Conquer. Check out my sports podcast as well. But this one you can find on Apple Podcasts and Spotify. You'll be getting, my contact list. I've been force feeding folks with it, but you can go to my Facebook page, my personal Facebook page. If you want to contact me, I do give coaching lessons. And the program is unbelievable. I've surrounded myself with the best and the brightest, the top people in their respective professions and what they have to offer. It's been phenomenal. I've gotten lucky, but I also think that there are no coincidences, and all these things have come into my life to help me and then to give back and to try to help others. So again, Divorce and Conquer. I have a Facebook page, also a website. And again, please subscribe and share, give a 5-star rating. If you would, we all appreciate that. And again, thank you very much for watching, and we'll see you next time on Divorce and Conquer. I'm Joe Staszak. I'm out. Have a great week.